can't stop watching this video.
Rest in fucking peace, Doris!
I don't like that it keeps cutting to that screen. I want to play it 45 times in a row. My phone's ringing. Suspected spam caller. I never answer those. I showed this to my kids last night. They lost their minds. I think the second person to get up and leave is a dude. It's a guy. I thought it was a girl the whole time. It's a guy. I think it's a guy. All right, let's go to the regular show. All right, I'm obsessed with this video right now because I find it to be the funniest thing I've ever seen. And then my kids saw it, and it was 2 straight hours last night of DJ Aldo, DJ Aldo. The story, I don't know how old. All right, it's 2 months ago. So the videos, I just found it within the last few days. But man, that's good. Something I saw on it says it's what Grandma wanted. Everything that's been happening lately with the ban and Instagram at risk. I'll be posting videos week. She had a real dark sense of humor. She hired and paid the worst DJ in town to MC her entire funeral because she hated her daughter-in-law. I don't know if I believe. I don't know what to think. I love DJ Aldo. It's so good. Can we do is there like a bigger, better version of this that we'll just repeat? Instead of me doing a show, I can just play this the whole time. That's what I want to do. I have a football game today. This is pregame time. I have not done any of my stuff that I have to do. All my writing. I know it doesn't seem like you have to write for a college football game when you're, the host, which I am. Tonight, UB plays Miami in a massive game at UB Stadium, and that's what's on my mind. I've got a Bulls hat. I've got a Bulls jacket. I'm freezing. It's cold. I just saw it's 35 degrees outside. This sucks. I'm wearing pajama pants. Like I'm cold. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. So I've got stuff to do. One of the things. So today is a game day to me. Like I woke up and it's game day, and I'm just on the radio. It's not the radio. It's the internet. You know what I mean? I'm just doing a show, acting like normal. But I need to focus, man. So one of the things I was thinking about, like, I should have somebody on the show today to talk about UB. And I was like, I'm not going to do that because I recorded a whole podcast with Scott about the UB game tonight. And I'm not going to try to recreate it with Scott. And I'm not going to call Paul or John or any. We're going to play that because it's completely new content that you haven't heard unless you listen to the UB podcast. If it even came out, I don't even know. The way it works with the UB football podcast, I record it and then I upload it to a cloud thing. And then I tell the guys at UB that it's up, and then they post it from their accounts and stuff. And I don't know if it got posted. I'm sure it did. It probably went up this morning or something. But anyway, it's like 30 minutes of me and Scott. So without having to bother Scott again, I can have Scott on the show. And it's a little, I will say this, it's a little more straightforward and less screwing around than when I typically have Scott on. The beauty of Scott is that he's the funniest person I know. So we have very interesting, fun conversations. And we tone it down a little bit for something that's brought to you by the State University of New York at Buffalo. So it's a little like calmer and I don't know, more serious, but it's still good. So rather than trying to call Scott and have him come on again, I mean, he's on Mondays, he's on Fridays. We had him 2 days ago. We'll have him 2 days from now. I'll hang out with him all night tonight. But rather than that, we recorded it, and it's on my computer. So why would I not just play that as a part of the show? So that's going to happen probably a couple of minutes from now. I've got it all lined up and ready to go. It's one of those a million different little things to talk about. I do want to address a situation that we've got coming up next week with Thanksgiving and whatnot. I think I'm going to take a vacation of sorts. I mean, for sure, I'm not doing a show next Thursday or Friday. That's just, no. Thursday is Thanksgiving. Friday is UB. I'm not doing a show those days. And I also feel like I am falling way behind on the other stuff that has to be done surrounding the show, as far as like posting things and editing things, and the website isn't what it should be. Like, we're at 213 episodes, and I still don't have the website where I need it to be. It's because I'm busy doing the show and editing things and worrying about Spotify and YouTube and all this stuff. I want to just be able to say, go to writerradio.com, and that's where everything is. And then I don't have to talk about Spotify and YouTube and Apple Music and all that. I just want it all in one spot. But I can't do all the things. I'm a one-man show again. I don't want to, or I can't do all the things and keep up. I need to stop doing the show for a minute. Like, stop the train, and let me catch up. So my thought is, I don't want to mess up the numbering system. So either I would do nothing at all for a week and hope you're back with me the week after that, or I'll put something up, but it's not going to be, next week will not be 5 live 2-hour shows. I just need to stop for a minute, just to get caught up on the rest of the stuff. So I will spend more time working on the show by not doing the show for a week. So it's a debate. I like the numbering system. I've explained this a few times, but I'll just say, I like knowing that if a show starts with a 1 or a 6, that's a Monday. So, episode 201 is a Monday, 205 is a Friday, 6 Monday, 10 Friday. This sounds dumb, maybe, but there's a system in place. I like it. I like that. I like knowing when I forget to do something and I'm missing something, I go back and I know the number. Just looking at a number, I know what day of the week it is. That helps. So I either need to not do anything for a week, which I could do, or I'll do something small that's like either pre-recorded or 10 minutes long or whatever, just to keep the numbering system in place. But I want to get all of my, there are 2 ways to say this. I could say ducks in a row or shit together, because I'm just on the internet. I could do either one. I want to get my ducks in a row. And I need to stop doing the show every day to do that, because, again, it's just me. I'm doing the job of like 5 people. This show would be perfect if I had 4 more people. And I don't even have 1 more people. I got no more people. So I need to kind of pause and breathe and fix some stuff. I'm audio issues, the fact that I can't wear my headset lately. That either broke or I broke something when we were on the road last week at Central Michigan, and I like that way better. I like even right now, I don't like that my face isn't centered in the frame. But it's not, because I'm uncomfortable being over here. Maybe I shouldn't be. Maybe I should just do that and be okay. But the microphone's right there. I'm not going to move stuff. That's how I get myself in trouble. I move things around, and then they don't work. there's just a lot of like wiring and dumb crap that I deal with that we don't talk about much. But it's like I need to stop talking so I can do the stuff. So next week's gonna be different. It'll either be tiny little shows or pre-recorded shows or something. But I'm not doing 5 shows next week, and I might be doing no shows next week. And I promise to be back the following Monday after Thanksgiving. But there's just it has to happen, and I'm in control of this, so I get to decide, and that's what I'm deciding. I want DJ Aldo back. I showed my kids DJ Aldo, wishing Doris would rest in peace. I showed that to my kids. I also showed them David Guetta on a roof in New York City, ending racism. George Floyd. I don't know which one they thought was funnier, but my God, did they laugh hard. We went, it was Tuesday. We go to trivia on Tuesday nights. I go to trivia, and I often take the kids. Not Drew. Drew's, I don't know. He wants to hang out with mom. He wants to shoot hoops in the dark. He wants to watch YouTube. He doesn't go very often. Sometimes he does. If he has to go, he goes. So no Drew. But Zach and Nate, 13 and 11, they like going to trivia. So last night, no John Fuller because UB was busy beating Vermont to go to 5-0. What? Basketball. Let's go, George Halkovich. Man, that guy. So he's the head coach of UB. This is his 3rd season. He was coming in. The only he came out of Villanova. The only person I know with Villanova ties is Eric Ebers, who's my age. He was Western New York Player of the Year maybe twice in basketball at St. Joe's, but graduated in 92, same as me. So I don't remember how I came to know him and how it wasn't through basketball. He was good. I was me. You know, I'm tall and I played on a team. I'm not good at it. I just did it. But he was awesome. And he went on to play at Nova. And I don't remember how we got connected. But for the last maybe 15 years or so, I've known him and we text occasionally about things. And when UB hired George Halkovich, I texted Eric, like, how'd we do? He's like, oh my God, you're going to love this guy. Like, just raved about him. And they just lost so many games the last 2 years. And I've only met him, I don't know, once or twice. I remember once for sure. I've probably said hello to him a couple times, but like, I don't know him. I don't know him. I don't know the basketball program. I used to. I was the PA announcer, so I was around it a lot more. I'm just not. I go to a game or two a year. That's it. In the last 2 years, like, you don't want to go to the games because they've just been embarrassingly bad. Like, the record, they won 9 times last year, 4 times in conference. And right now, obviously, it's out of conference stuff, but they're 5-0, man. They beat DePaul. They beat Vermont last night. Like, I don't know. I'm going to have to investigate, see what's going on over there. But this, welcome back, UB basketball. Like, that is super cool, super fun. It was tremendous for the, 7-8 years we had of this is going to sound like I'm bad-mouthing Reggie Witherspoon. I loved Reggie Witherspoon, and they were very good under him. And he's an awesome coach and an awesome guy, and I would call him a friend. Like, I loved him. And when he got fired, I was pissed. I was so mad. And then they hired Bobby Hurley. I was like, well, okay, I'm listening. And that went well. And he went on to ASU. And then Nate Oates got promoted. And for whatever it was, 6 years, 7 years, whatever it was, between the two coaches, that was unbelievable. So fun. Just out there beating Arizona in the first round of the tournament. And it was great. And then it just faded. Nate left for Alabama. Jim Weitzel became the head coach. And I liked him too. I still like him. Good dude, but like the magic went away. And once they decided, okay, time to move on from Jim, they brought in this young kind of, spark plug from Villanova, and it just didn't happen for 2 years. And now they're 5-0. So I read through the roster last night or this morning or something, and I recognized like 3 names. So I don't know anything about this team. I just know that they beat the Catamounts last night. Song on that, Syracuse. Can you say Vermont Catamounts to a Syracuse fan without them getting angry? I think no. And that's like 22 years ago or 23 years ago. 21 years ago? I don't know. It's 04, 03, something like that. But they beat them in the tournament. Was it on St. Patrick's Day? Right around St. Patrick's Day? So I'm excited about that. I don't remember why I started talking about this or ranting about this. Bottom line, though, 5-0 is super cool. The next time we have John Fuller on, or maybe we should have George on. I don't know George, really. Like I said, met him for sure at like some introductory event thing that I did at some bar downtown because, I don't know, Paul was out sick or something. Paul Peck. And then, I've talked to him once or twice since then, but that's it. I don't know him. I don't know the team. But I know they're 5-0, and there's some buzz around this team. I'm getting text messages from friends who usually only text me about football that are texting me about basketball. That's cool. So I'm decked out in my Bulls gear. Today is a full-on Bulls day. With that in mind, you're going to hear Scott Wilson and me talking about the Bulls. Again, it will sound a little dry just because we're nicer and friendlier and less inclined to, swear when we're doing it for the official UB football podcast. But I recorded it. It's me. It's him. I have it. It's right here. I want to talk about the Bulls. I'd rather talk about the Bulls with Scott than by myself. I don't want to bother Scott right now. He's probably working. Like, Scott is the best. Scott is likely at work today and then has to bail a little early. So he probably was there at 7:30 in the morning and probably will leave at, 3:30 instead of 4:30 or something to drive to Buffalo to call a Bulls game and act as if he just lives here. He doesn't. He's 2 hours from here. It's a 2-hour drive every time. We get back from, where'd we go last week? Central Michigan. Get back from Central Michigan at 3 in the morning. I got home at 2:58. So we both landed at, let's say, 2:30 or something. He got home at like 5 and then went to work at 7:30 and acted like it was fine because he cares that much and he's that good. So that's Scott. You'll hear him today on the pregame show and on the game. Paul Peck is back. He was back last week after missing a pair of games. I got to call a game as a color guy, which is fun. First time, 51 years old. I've never done that before. That was cool. I've done basketball games. I did a Joe Macy fight with Kevin Sylvester as the color guy. I lasted, the other guy, the opponent for Macy, was it Williamson? DeVarrell Williamson, touch of sleep. He lasted like a minute and a half until Joe Macy gave him a touch of sleep. So that's all I'd ever done. And I find most people who are in this line of work, radio, talking on the radio about sports thing, aspire to be play-by-play guys and color guys. I just don't. I've never wanted that. I like conversations more than like telling you what's happening. I am in charge of this, and you will learn it all from me. No thanks. I like hanging out, man. I like to hang out and talk. And it just happened that they needed a person. I was going on the trip. Yeah, I'll do it. And it was fun. It was super cool. I don't want to do it again. I'm fine. If they ask me to do it again, I would do it again. But I don't. I'm not dying to be a color guy or play-by-play guy. I like just being around it. I like being around all of it. I'm the host. They call me the host because I do pregame show. I do halftime. I have a microphone. I tell you that the current flavor of Coke is the new best flavor of Coke or something like stuff like that. Tell you about what apps to download. Tell you about ECMC and UBMD orthopedics. And I've got a role. I get to be around it. I get to go to football games. They pay me to go to football games. That's cool. I don't need to be the actual announcer broadcaster guy. But Paul's good at it. Scott's good at it. They'll be on tonight. 7 o'clock kickoff, 6 p.m. pregame show. That one's me. That one sounds a lot like this, honestly. Except I have a bunch of guests instead of just talking to myself. I have John Fuller to start. I have Paul Peck with Pete Lembo. I have Mark Allnut. I have Paul and Scott talking to me. I have Paul talking to players. All of that in 1 hour. I do 2 hours of just me most nights, most days, rather. But the 1 hour a week that I do for 12 weeks a year is just loaded. It's not even work. It's not anything. Super easy. They pay me. It's great. But they also pay me to do the podcast, which I own. And by own, I mean have here ready to play. So I'm going to do that. We're going to play a song. And then you're going to get half an hour of UB football talk from me and Scott Wilson. And it'll be, so ECMC doesn't sponsor Writer Radio. ECMC sponsors the UB football podcast. So you're going to hear some ECMC plugs. Writer Radio, however, is brought to you by our good friend, Brian Janik at the Financial Guys. Financialguys.com is the place to go to find him. He's a 20-plus year veteran of the insurance industry. And especially if you're approaching age 65 and heading toward Medicare, he's got your back. You don't even have to pay him. You call him, you get in touch with him. He helps you navigate the stuff that you don't know how to do, but he does. He gets paid elsewhere. He gets paid by insurance companies, not by you. So you'll be fine if you deal with Brian Janik at thefinancialguys.com. Quick timeout, song or two, and then some football, and then I'm back live. Stick with me. I'm Brad, and this is Writer Radio. What's up, UB Football Podcast? Brad Writer, along with Scott Wilson. Podcast, as always, brought to you by ECMC, proud sponsor of UB Athletics, providing hope and healing to the residents of Western New York. My health, my choice, ECMC. Scott, I think it's our job to provide hope and healing to Bulls fans following, my least favorite game of the year, I would say. Tough loss on the road at Central Michigan with the opportunity to really grab control of the reins and head into these final 2 weeks with a real legitimate control your own destiny type of situation. That is gone with the loss at Central. So I guess before we get into what's left on the schedule and what is happening this week with the Miami Redhawks in town, I guess let's recap the sadness from last week. I did not enjoy that game.
No, did not enjoy the trip to Mount Pleasant. It was Mount Unpleasant.
Very unpleasant.
Is what we should go with there. It wasn't that bad if you trim 5 turnovers off.
Right.
It was okay. I think the most frustrating part about it, because I think that's really what you would call it, in a similar vein to the Akron game. The frustrating thing is the offense didn't really play that well, and they still had the ball with 11 minutes to go at the 12-yard line, 11-yard line, whatever it was, ready to punch it in and make it a field goal game. So, with plenty of time on the clock and how good the defense overall had been playing, everything was still going to be okay somehow. We were set to do what the Bulls have done all season long, which is, mess around for a quarter, get yourself into some deep water against a team that you're either better or equal to, and have to struggle to pull it out of the fire. And this time they couldn't do it. It's just, it's too many turnovers, and that we talked about it going into last week, even before the BG game, but especially last week. Like these last 3 games, the Bulls can't do that. These teams are a whole different animal than playing the teams that they did to start the season. And this isn't Kent State, and Kent State's better than they've been, but they're still not as good as the Bulls. This isn't Eastern. This isn't all these other teams, UMass, where they're terrible. Really, they're not good, and they were able to kind of mess around and get away with it. These last 3 games on the schedule is not that, and they learned a tough lesson last week, which is, yeah, listen, you can't give the ball away. You can't give away opportunities against pretty good teams. I would have hoped that they would have learned that already with the Akron game, or even all of the other experiences that I just mentioned.
Yeah.
Because it's really that way against every team, for every team in this conference. If you're not coming buttoned up, you're gonna leave with an L. And again, just frustrating because they had the ball. It was ready to be there. The game was fine.
Yeah.
They got the big turnover, and then immediately an 85-yard fumble return for a touchdown ends it. You combine the 5 turnovers that they had, which really easily could have been 8.
Yep.
And then combine it with 2 of them go back for touchdowns. Even if you say, all right, we'll keep the 5 turnovers, but they don't go for touchdowns.
Right.
With the Bulls defense, those are at most, you could say those possibly are field goals. Like, they're one of the best red zone defenses in the nation. So, and a top 40, a top 50 overall defense in the country. So, they're still okay there. And the game is vastly different there at the end, even with all those things. But you can't do it all combined and expect to win against a good team, which Central Michigan is, and they're tied in second with the 5 other teams trying to get to Detroit.
Yeah. They I mean, what do you do? The offense needs to tackle better. I mean, like that's essentially what we're talking about, because not only do you give the ball away 5 times and almost give it away 3 others, but you took the ball away twice. Both times you got the ball right around the 10-yard line, and you got 3 total points out of it. Like you're saying, if those turnovers aren't touchdowns, well, yeah, you can put it that way too if you want. But first drive of the game, the Bulls start at the 11 or the 9, something. They're right around the 10, and that is just like a minus 2-yard drive and a field goal. So you get 3, but you really need 7. You really need 7 in that situation. You're on the road. You get that takeaway quickly, and you can really put the pedal to the ground. And they don't. It's a whimper instead. So you get the 3-point lead, and then, like you said, down 11, another interception. This one by Gonser. Puts them right around the 10-yard line, and then the next play is a fumble that goes 85 yards the other way for a touchdown. So, yeah, you can't give it away, and then you do have to take it away. But then when you take it away, you have to score 2, and it was just I don't know, comedy of errors. It was just mistakes all over the place, and you can't win in this conference or in most conferences when you're giving the ball away and you're reckless like that, and that's really what they were. They were reckless and careless with the ball, and it just resulted in a long bus ride to a short flight. But just, man, it's so miserable coming home from road losses. I forgot we hadn't had to deal with that. I mean, Minnesota's one thing, and on a Wednesday in the middle of the night when you got to be at work at 7:30, we're flying back to Buffalo, and you still have to go to Syracuse. Like, I'm borderline exhausted still, and the game is coming up on a week ago.
Yeah, so I think from everything I've seen and heard, Roberson looks to be a go this week, even though he kind of tweaked his ankle there, or tweaked his leg at the end of the game last week. So at least that's there. There are some other bumps and bruises leading into this week that, hopefully the Bulls will be able to get straightened out. There's still, Jake Tim is putting together what he can. He's still trying to play on an injury, and kind of what's happened is that they've worked in a rotation that moves a guard to center, but then the center has to go to, it's kind of turned into this whole domino effect on the offensive line where there's been a lot of bodies moving around, a lot of shuffling, which is something that didn't happen last year at all. And, it's become now there's no more errors that can happen.
Right.
You can't lose again and hope to get to Detroit. So, plus still sitting at 5 wins because you let 2 MAC games get away from you. Specifically the Akron game that they should have won. They should have won that game.
Yep.
The 18-point lead against Troy in the fourth quarter.
Yep.
That evaporates. They end up losing that one, and then losing at the buzzer to a very good UConn team. That's UConn and Troy are both they're quality losses, but they're losses that very easily should have and could have been wins. So you're still sitting here at 5 wins. You still need to get that 6 for a bowl. And now you've got the 2 hardest games in the conference coming up at home, which helps, but this is not going to be an easy trip to get that 6th win, and it's not going to be an easy go of it here over the final 2 weeks to try to make it to Detroit.
Yeah. So
still doable.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, what we were hoping to see is UB at the top of the standings with Western Michigan, both at 5-1, and then let the 4-2 teams exist below you. Instead, it's Western at the top, 5-1, and you are now, as you said, one of 5 teams. Central Michigan, who you lost to, Ohio, who you're playing, Toledo, who you don't play, and Miami are the other teams with Buffalo, and you're playing Miami here. So you're fighting. You get a crack at the other teams that are competing for the same thing that you are, and like you said, you get it at home. But when this schedule came out, we said, "Oof, that's going to make for some rough work at the end of the season," and that's where we are. So 2 games, need one of them to go to a bowl game, need both of them and help to go to Detroit, which seemed so within their reach prior to kickoff against Central Michigan, and now seems very difficult to achieve. But every game in the MAC is a toss-up. Maybe possible exception of UMass for most teams anyway. They're sitting at 0-6, but we've seen each of these teams come up in a game where we didn't expect them to. We've seen each of these teams fall in a game where we didn't expect them to. You just need things to go your way this week and next, starting with the Miami Redhawks.
Yeah, Central losing to Akron earlier this year. Then you look at Ball State defeating Ohio earlier this year. Toledo taking the loss to Bowling Green earlier this year with a 21-point lead in the second half. I mean, we look at these games, and like you said, other than UMass, you look at the games remaining and you say, well, are the odds in favor of everybody else losing out? Probably not. But to sit here and say that that's out of the realm of possibility is wrong.
Right.
Because everybody in this conference has the ability to beat everybody else and also has the ability to go out there and lose to everybody else. And this is in a way what we had hoped for us as covering the team and as fans of the team in the conference, which is we really like to have those last 2 games of the season at home, Miami and the Ohio Bobcats, to have championship implications. And we're here. It's frustrating that we could have reached this point and had a game or 2 buffer at this point so that these games didn't matter as much. You still got to win them, but you could have afforded to lose one. You can't anymore. So the pressure is there. These are going to be pressure-packed, exciting games against really good teams with the championship on the line. And, that's exciting. That's fun. Coming off of last week was not fun, but you still have to reset and understand, like, okay, we're going to learn from it. We're going to build from it. And we got to, strap it back up and be ready to go next week, because it's still fine. It's harder. It's harder. You're going to have to kind of pay attention to everybody else, but it's still fine. You can still do it. You just got to take care of business.
All right. We could have had, in this matchup with Miami, we could have had probably the first quarterback matchup between a Daquan and a Daquan and Taquan. But Daquan Finn, the stud that we've been used to, played for Toledo, went to Baylor, is now back in the MAC, or was now back in the MAC with Miami, and certainly a guy we were going to have our eyes on heading into this game. Last week, we learned he was not playing because he was sick, and then within a day or so of that, he just quit the team. So Daquan Finn is no longer on the Miami Redhawks. What does that mean as far as, from a football standpoint, but also from like a mentality standpoint? That doesn't sound like a great situation if you were starting a guy all year long and with 2 games left in the season, he quit your 3 games left. He quit your team. What's happening in Miami to the best of your knowledge?
Yeah, well, I mean, this is a really odd story, and one that took us by surprise. We even noted on the broadcast last week that, hey, Miami right now losing to Toledo, and Daquan Finn did not play. He was a surprise last-minute scratch, and we kind of heard through the grapevine, and what they were saying was it was an illness. So it's like, all right, well, they dropped a tough one to Toledo. That's a very good team, but to suddenly have the rug pulled out from, a flu or something goes through and gets your guy, you kind of understand that. It happens. Every now and then someone's going to get sick and just can't play. Well, then all of a sudden, a couple of days later, Chuck Martin, Miami's coach, comes out and says, yeah, he's moving on, and we're moving on, and you're not going to see him on the field anymore. He's getting ready for the next level. And that to me makes no sense. I don't know if something happened behind the scenes or if he's just getting terrible advice, because first of all, it was a long shot that he would ever make the next level anyway. Second of all, what NFL general manager or head coach or even UFL is going to be really excited about getting a quarterback that quit on their team in the middle of a championship race with 3 games to go in the season? Not many.
Well, and it's the third team he's quit on.
Getting bad advice, or if he's just, I don't think you can say he quit on Toledo. He was there for 3 years. He won a championship. He won a Player of the Year. He took him to 2 championship games, and then got offered a bunch of money to go down to Texas and play for Baylor. Like, I don't want to say he quit there. Okay. He got to Baylor, got injured, lost the starting job, so he left. And with all the COVID and everything else, he gets an extra year, and goes to Miami. And boy, it's got to be very frustrating for the Redhawks. They don't do this at this position. If you think back, they've had Ragland and Gabbert and tough guys that are bought in and committed to that school. Gabbert had years where he probably could have left and made some money somewhere else or been a backup at a Power 5 somewhere, but he stuck around and he stayed. And those 2 guys, Ragland now is back as the quarterback's coach. They have brought in transfers at, a couple of defensive linemen, a safety here or there, some wide receivers. But for the most part, Chuck Martin really has always believed in high school recruiting, building it out on guys that want to be there. And then sometimes when you do a good job and those people get paid a boatload of money to go somewhere else, you do have to backfill with some of your own transfers, sure. But they have not done it at the quarterback position. So this was out of character for them to go out. And I don't know what their budget is on NIL money, but I would assume that a good chunk of it was spent to get Finn there and playing. So this was something that they kind of went out of character, out on a limb to bring in a guy that is a proven winner in the conference. And I guess it's backfired here on him. I mean, I don't know. Maybe he was sick for that Toledo game, but again, if I'm an NFL team and I see that a guy is ducking out playing his former team, like that. Like that should have been a big deal. It should have been Finn against Toledo. Um, I don't know. It's a really weird situation. It's not one that we often see in the MAC. Um, Khalil Mack played in the famous Idaho Potato Bowl, and he was widely regarded as a top 15 pick at the time. Then eventually, as time went on, and he went to the combine, and people actually really started looking at the game tape. They were like, "This is a top 5 player,
Right.
clearly." But at the time, he was still like, "This is going to be this is definitely a first round pick, probably top 15," and he played in the Potato Bowl. So for Finn to just be out here like, you know, like I better call it quits so
Yeah.
I don't get hurt.
Well, I
for
think
the
getting
draft.
ready
Hey,
for the
bro,
next level.
Who was telling you that?
Right. I think the first thing you want to do is finish this level before advancing to the next level. So I don't understand how bailing on the season is helpful to him. I feel like there's more to the story that we
Yeah,
you
there's
know, we
definitely got to be more
yeah, I don't know.
to that situation.
All right, so
because
what's it mean at the quarterback position for them? What are we looking at? And we're going to get to the defense because the defense is the part that's scaring me about this weekend or this week's matchup. But what does it mean at the QB position?
Well, they're going to go with Henry Hessen, who was the backup. Now, with a situation like this, you'd think that the advantage would be definitely with the Bulls. I'm not necessarily going to throw it that way. It's certainly a less athletic and less dangerous quarterback um, than facing Finn, without a doubt. And Finn wasn't having a terrific season, but he still has the athleticism and had the experience enough to really hurt you, when he needed to. Could you force Finn left and he would never throw the football? Yes. but still he was athletic enough to still make himself very dangerous. Hessen can move a little bit, he can run a little bit. That's not something that they want to do. And the reason I say it's not a total advantage here for the Bulls is just because Finn was injured earlier in the year. Hessen played most of the game against UNLV. He also played against their FCS opponent in Lindenwood and then played last week against Toledo. So it's not like a guy is being thrown in there out of nowhere who's been sitting around all season. He's played this season. They beat Lindenwood handily. When he was in the game, they were still very competitive against UNLV. They were up 14 points in the fourth quarter on the Rebels before the Rebels had like a kickoff return for a touchdown and then forced a fumble on the ensuing kickoff. And like it was a cascade of crazy things that got the Rebels back into the game, who, edged them there at the buzzer. Again, that's a quality loss for Miami, but much like the Troy game for the Bulls, that was their Troy game. Like they were up 14 in the second half. That's got to be a win. And they didn't pull it out. So Hessen, while not as good as Finn and not as dangerous as Finn, still has played this year and has at moments looked okay. And now they're going to have a full week knowing that he is definitely going to be the starter. There's not going to be any ambiguity about what's going on there. To add on to the Finn thing, I thought it was interesting because I saw like, oh, he's going to prepare for the league. So I went online to go to the Miami website to try and look up like, oh, where is he at like stats wise? And he was removed from Finn was no longer on the roster like 10 minutes after Chuck Martin announced that he was no longer on the team. So that tells me that there's definitely something else going on there. They are not happy about whatever's happened.
Right.
Because he's being scrubbed from immediately from what they had out there. But, Hessen, I think, is going to have a full week of preparation, full week with the ones. And I think at a certain point, Miami as a team knows they're still in it and they have an opportunity to rally around their guy. They have an opportunity to, hey, all right, this guy quit on us. Everybody else is counting us out because of it. Let's rally around and play for this kid, and let's play for our boy here who's actually going to be with us and stick it out with us and get this done. So I actually, I would expect Miami to come in to UB Stadium, a place that they have not won in quite some time. and be very excited and be amped up and to try to get this win to keep themselves in contention, but also rally around the fact that, all right, he wants to quit. Fine, let's show him that he shouldn't have quit, and we'll bring that energy. And they have a terrific defense. I mean, they've had a good defense now for the last 6-7 years, but they've got a terrific defense. Hondru in the middle at linebacker is really good. Along the defensive line, they've just got like a rotation of guys that get in there. They're the best team in the conference, really the best team that I've seen overall, watching tape, at getting their hands up along the defensive line in passing lanes. They have to be near I don't know if they even keep a stat like this, but they have to be near the nation's leaders in like defensive linemen ball batted down. Like it's crazy. They are really, really good at that. They can get pressure on the quarterback. They've got good guys over on the corner. Corners are handsy. I will say that there is potential for being able to draw some pass interference calls, but in Matt Graffs, you never know what they're going to decide to call.
Right.
So a lot of times they're able to get away with it. If between poor officiating or just refs letting it go, they've been able to play really physical on the outside and affect some wide receivers. So they have a really good defense. They force a lot of turnovers. They get pressure on the quarterback. And those are all things that the Bulls last week had a big, big problem with. Central went to that like amoeba defense.
Yeah.
Where they had nobody lined up on the ground. They were all just kind of moving around. And for the most part, I thought the offensive line did the best they could with it and was okay with it. But I think it affected Roberson still. Not really knowing where he felt safe in moving to or stepping up into in the pocket, I think affected him a lot. And then, feeling some of the rush. And when they did get home with it, getting in there and Roberson exposing the ball was a problem. So that's something to definitely worry about and keep an eye on for the Bulls in this game, because this Miami defense is for real. Even the games that they have lost, really, the defense has been good. They've been very good. So, I know Wisconsin hasn't been that good this year, but that was like a 10-0 game late in the second half against Wisconsin. It ended up 17-0, but still, like, the defense was very good, and they were okay at Rutgers. Rutgers kind of got some late fourth quarter touchdowns to kind of really put that one away. And UNLV runs a high tempo offense, and that was just kind of a track meet of a game between the two anyway. But they are a very good defense, and the Bulls are definitely going to have their hands full. The Bulls got to run the ball. The Miami defense has allowed some scramble yards to quarterbacks, and the quarterbacks that have beat them have been mobile. Calandra at UNLV. You look at Lowry at Western Michigan, was able to move some things, and obviously Navarro at Ohio was able to, they won the game because he was able to break those tackles, get out of the pocket, and then fling it down the sideline there with 2 minutes to go. And Ohio kind of stole that game late. So there is something there. I just, I don't know if I don't think we can say that that's the type of quarterback that Roberson is. I think we kind of thought that might be what he is, but I don't.
And we've seen it in
10
spurts,
games in,
but it was like it wasn't there. Then it was kind of there for a couple games, and then he got hurt, and kind of since then it hasn't been there. But that's a massive part of what he should be bringing to the team, and I don't know if they don't want him doing it or he doesn't want to do it. But that's what can keep these teams off balance, and that's what could really help. In these situations of just staying on the field, a third and 5, 3rd and 6, it's not there. Go get those 5 yards, go get those 7 yards, and keep it moving. And it's been frustrating because I think it's there. I mean, we've seen him run, and it exists, but where has it been? And that's been tough to take.
Yeah, I mean, he's got one of the longest runs of the season there, albeit against St. Francis, but he has a 40-yard touchdown run.
Right. Yeah.
So
it exists.
It's in there, and I think, like you said, the frustrating part is you don't need that. I need him to just scramble when everything is not there, and pull it down and try to scramble and pick up 5 yards. That would be a huge help. And instead, he's kind of been just kind of hanging around there in the pocket too long, holding on to the ball too long, and then exposing the ball when he's getting pressure. So it's led to a lot of turnovers this year. That's been really the story of the season has been just too many offensive turnovers for an offense that, when they don't turn the ball over, for the most part, looks okay. There were moments in that Central Michigan game where the offense looked great and we're moving the ball with ease, and then tragedy strikes, and it all gets washed away. So this is an excellent defense, an excellently coached team with Chuck Martin. They are not going to beat themselves. I know last week against Toledo they had some turnovers, interceptions that are charged to Hessen that were, there was one interception where he threw a beautiful ball on a crossing route. It bounced off the guy's arms into the air and turned into like a 55-yard interception return that set up a touchdown. So, that's it's charged to the quarterback. That's not on him. They're not going to give the ball away. I think they're going to feel comfortable with how they play on defense. They're probably going to be fine with punting the ball and playing field position and letting their defense see if they can go and force some more mistakes from the Bulls offense. And if the Bulls, in the games where UB hasn't turned the ball over, they're fine. Even if they're not getting turnovers on defense, if they just don't turn the ball over, everything is fine. If they're just punting the ball, cool. Go back and look. They were in a one-score game at Minnesota. So, again, they have to value the ball. This is a team that goes after turnovers and is very aggressive on defense, and they're very talented on defense. It's okay to punt the ball. It's okay to pull the ball down and pass on throwing the ball into traffic and just try to get 5-6 yards to try and move the sticks. If they can do that, I think this is going to be an excellent game. I think the Bulls are in an opportunity to win against a quarterback in Hessen who's okay, but still nowhere near as talented as what they could have been facing.
It's like a 43% passer career. So, you're not facing the former player of the year. You're not facing a guy who's won a championship. You're facing Hessen. So, yeah, go get the job done. Kickoff 7 o'clock at UB Stadium. Pregame show 6 o'clock with me, Scott, Paul, John Fuller, Mark Allnut, Pete Lembo, players, all that stuff will come your way live on the Bet 1520 at 6 o'clock. This is Wednesday night. And also on the Varsity Network app. This podcast is brought to you by ECMC, proud sponsor of UB Athletics, providing hope and healing to the residents of Western New York. My health, my choice, ECMC. For Scott Wilson, I'm Brad Ryder, thanking you for listening to the podcast. Join us for the game, and go Bulls. I spent the entire break, that was a long break for me, where I was just texting with people. And a lot of stuff going on. I had a lengthy conversation with Chris, the Bulldog Parker, about new wave music. My recent obsession with the band The Cars, that is on the heels of my 5 or 6 years old obsession with the band Talking Heads. I want to know what's up with new wave, because it seemed like soft and weak and nerdy and stupid. And now I get it. Like, listen, we played at some point in there a Cars song or two, certainly Moving in Stereo, which, again, I recommend if you have the means, listen to the song Moving in Stereo by the Cars on headphones. You need headphones. It's not the same song if you don't have it on headphones. I've tried it like loud in the car. No, not the same. It needs to swirl. Like... That's what they were doing. It was all production. It's all technically just unbelievable. The song, it's fine, but it's what they're doing technically that is absolutely incredible. And I recommend that for everyone. Listen to Moving in Stereo on headphones, please. And preferably like over-the-ear headphones, like these things I have on me right now. Not earbuds. I mean, it's probably fine with earbuds, AirPods, whatever the hell you have. It's probably fine. But headphones, the cars, holy crap. New world, like whole different realm. Like you enter a different place if you listen to that on headphones. So I recommend that. Thank you all for listening to Writer Radio and watching Writer Radio and whatever you're doing. We're at episode 213. And I'm very grateful for every person who is a part of it, who's listening, who's checking in, who's monitoring. I apologize to anybody who's looking for the podcast version, because I've just run out of time. Again, it's one-man band. It's tough. I think the podcast is more important than the live show. The live show's gimmicky almost. We need the podcast to be the thing. And it's me doing the show, using music as breaks, loving the music. Like, that's what fuels me. Without music, I wouldn't do this. Like, I get the opportunity to play, the War on Drugs and Tokyo Police Club and Extreme and De La Soul on the same day. Like, I get to do that. That's what fuels that. It fuels me. It's just for me. That doesn't make things perfect or profitable or whatever. But I love it. But then to put the show out as a podcast, I have to get rid of those songs. And the last 2 days, I think, or maybe even 3. What day is today? Today is Wednesday. Monday, Tuesday are not available yet as podcasts, because I didn't have time to do it, because the show ends and then life happens, and but it's just me. So I'm working on it. I hope this afternoon, to get the last 3 shows, including this one, online as podcasts, because that's really where I need to be. But if that doesn't happen, then I'll try again tomorrow. I'm trying, man. I'm trying so hard. I really am. There's a lot of work that's put into this, and I love it. I absolutely love it. But it's also a time suck, and it's draining and all that stuff. So they're coming. I'm defeating the purpose of doing the show by not having the podcast available right after the show. The plan is the show is 10 to noon, and then at 1 o'clock, the podcast is available. That's the plan. And that just has not happened this week. I'm just busy. All right. I've got probably 20 tabs open on my screen up here. Let's see if any of it matters. That's what we're going to do the rest of the show, is go through. Oh, here we go. Okay. Football, fantasy, sports. No, we can close that. Oh, that's the Bulls beat the Catamounts last night. Basketball. UB over Vermont, 94-90. That sounds awesome. Wish I had been there. I was instead losing at trivia at the Anchor Bar. Not the Anchor Bar, but Anchor Bar. One of the Anchor Bars. What is this? This is max standings. Don't need that one. Okay. It's slow. The computer's slow, so you're just dealing with me. I'm just hanging out, clearing the computer, but it's very laggy and slow and stupid. Don't need that one. Close. Page unresponsive. Exit page. I knew this thing could. I keep opening links and open link in new tab, and I knew that my computer couldn't handle it, and I just did it anyway. Even exit page isn't working. Come on. Ugh. We're here. We're still hanging out. Just bear with me. What time is it? 11:54. Oh, I thought it was like 10 minutes earlier. All right. Google Chrome not responding. Great. Thanks. Shit. I mean, at any point, I can just call it a day, put on a song, end the show. Be fine. But I have 45 things up here I want to talk about. So I'm not doing that. But maybe I have to. Minimize. All right, I minimized. You want to see my screen? Let's do that. Let's do this one. This one. There. All right. So you can see my screen now. Wait, I don't even see that. What the hell's going on here? If I click that. All right. So exit page. But see how the thing is spinning? I can't really click when I'm spinning. Oop, something happened. Maybe I can. Senior living facility contracts, what to know before you sign. I remember that story. That story was about a woman or a man, I don't know. Somebody died in September, early September, and then they got a bill, the family got a bill for $8,000 for the assisted care facility for October. Died in September. Got a bill in October because they didn't give 30 days notice that they were moving out. That was a fun story. I mean, I can't talk about it because you can see what's going on my screen. Nothing. Wait. And on the YouTube video, it looks like that white box is like prevalent, like, but that's not even clear. None of this is clear. Nothing's happening. If I hit exit page, what happens? Should I hit wait? I'll hit wait. It's not letting me hit anything. Ugh. Oh. All right, here we go. Family charged $8,000. See, I told you. For rent at senior living facility after their father's death. Bradford Kelly's father died in September. 3 weeks after he passed, his senior living facility informed the family they owed $8,000 for October. Some senior living facilities may require 30 days notice to end a lease, even in the case of death, which can cost the family thousands of dollars. How was I supposed to know 30 days in advance that my father was going to pass away? It's nuts. I agree with you, Bradford Kelly. And it's not just because your name is Brad. It's not like we have a kinship. You're my boy. As fellow Brads. I'm not Bradford or Bradley. I'm just Brad. But Bradford. I like him. He reached out after he received an email from the facility in Massachusetts where his father was living when he passed away. The email notified him that his family owed just over $8,000 for October rent. The email came 3 weeks after his father died in September. I'm like, why would I owe for October? He wasn't there one day in October. Why would he owe for October? Salient points, Bradford, sorry. The facility's business director explained in an email to Kelly, that the lease stipulates that the facility requires 30 days written notice to vacate, and in this case, the date of passing initiates the 30 days automatically. Yeah, I would think. Atria is the name of the place. Does not expect residents to predict when they will pass. So when someone does, they're not required to give written notice because the date of passing pushes the notice automatically. These terms were agreed to at the time of signing the lease. Yeah, okay. I'm going to close this. I don't want to go on a giant rant there. That is garbage. I don't know what's happening there. I don't know how it gets solved. But we'll see. All right, what's this? Massive python crashes through family's ceiling and dangles wriggling in their bathroom. It was it's like a 20-pound snake. Ever seen a 20? No, more. It was way more. Hold on. 120 pounds. Sorry. 120-pound snake fell through a ceiling. It's Malaysia, so like, I don't know where that is, really. I'm never going there. I don't care. But is that possible, like here? I live in Amherst, which is a suburb of Buffalo, New York. Is it possible that a 120-pound snake might be in my ductwork? I guess. Is there a video? I'd like to see I've seen a video like this. Probably on AFV, but related stories. Wild deer crashes into Ohio Junior High's cafeteria. Hikers survive close encounter with mountain lion after spotting wild animal following them. That's fun. It was so big I screamed out loud is a quote I just saw. I mean, there's a picture. Let me blow that up. There we go. Look at that. That's a snake in a house. All right, close that one. Next. I wish my computer was better. Singer D4VD. I don't know what that, like, that might say David. Like, I don't know how to pronounce that. But some guy did a rap song about killing a 15-year-old and putting her in his car. And then there's a 15-year-old dead in his car. This one seems like an interesting story that we should revisit when I'm more interested in it, because it's awesome, I think. Awesome. I mean, dead kid, dead girl, but motorcyclist loses license after road rage bonnet ride to police station. This story, I love this story because it was Australian and most of the words didn't make sense to me. It's in English, but not really. And you can see this guy here. We'll blow him up too. Look at this guy. Yeah, mad, angry. He looks like a January 6th dude, but like the Australian version. Lost his license after clinging to a P-plater's bonnet. What does that mean? I don't know. I don't speak Australian. During a road rage incident, this is in February, so this is old as shit. Dash cam footage played to the court showed him throwing his helmet at the car and smashing the driver's side mirror. His license has been suspended for 8 months. He's been placed on 12-month community order. I'm going to close that. That story's fun and interesting, but confusing to me because it's written in Australian. I think I did this one yesterday. Close that. Close that. We're just closing out windows. That's what we're doing. Oh, yeah. Who's the guy that voted against the Epstein-files being revealed? His name is Clay Higgins. My boy Josh texted me. He's like, I think he did it. It was like a principle thing. And he's right. It is. And I get it. But how mad would he be? How mad would you be if you're the person that's like, no, we shouldn't just release all the Epstein files. This will set a very bad precedent for our country in the future if people just demand a thing becomes public and then it does. Like, it's bad. It's going to be real bad when they come out, which is going to happen, it seems. Maybe I won't take next week off, because next week might be the most interesting week in the history of America, when suddenly it's revealed that everyone we pay attention to is a pedophile. That would be weird, right? Like that could happen. Not everyone. It's not going to be everyone. But like, is it going to be George Clooney? Because I'm not ready for it to be George Clooney or Vince Vaughn. Everyone else can go, but like, I need my movie stars to be okay. A couple of them. Like Will Ferrell's not going to be involved, right? But there are going to be a lot of people. This is going to be a thing. This is going to be. The world is potentially about to be turned upside down in America because of the release of Epstein files. I still don't understand what release means and like who gets what and who's going to read real fast and who's going to report what. But things are going to go down when this happens. Like crazy, crazy things are going to happen. And I would say I look forward to it. I guess I do. Bring it. But that would be the wrong week to take off. But it's Thanksgiving. We're definitely not doing Thursday and Friday shows. Maybe not doing Monday through Wednesday either. I've got stuff to take care of with regard to the show and the website and all that stuff. And meetings and interviews and stuff. Like, there's just stuff. So, I don't know. We'll see. If it's an emergency, I guess I go back on. Only lawmaker to vote no on Epstein-files calls it a principled stand. Clay Higgins, an outspoken Trump supporter, said he was no on the bill from the beginning, arguing innocent people will be hurt by the disclosures. Okay. I don't think he's wrong. I think if your name is in this thing, you're going to look bad. For sure, you're going to look bad. And that's probably right. But it was, what was the vote? 427-1 or something like that. And you're the guy. You don't want to be that guy. You don't want to be one. All right. I've been a principled no on this from the beginning. As written, this bill reveals and injures thousands of innocent people, witnesses, people who provided alibis, family members, etc., he continued. If enacted in its current form, this type of broad reveal of criminal investigative files released to a rabid media will absolutely result in innocent people being hurt. He is not wrong. Yeah, 427-1 is the vote. He's not wrong. But Jesus, it would be better if it was 425-3. Like, you needed someone else. So I appreciate somebody who stands on his own like this. I don't know that he's standing on his own for the right thing, but I get it, man. You believe what you believe, and you're going to do what you're going to do. But 427-1, that sucks. That's the guy who says, "No, I don't think Derek Jeter belongs in the Hall of Fame." What? All right. Senate agreed to deem it passed as soon as it arrives in that chamber. Trump said Monday he would sign it if it reaches his desk. Everything else I've read is it's going there. I haven't read anything since 9:30 this morning, so if something has changed, I apologize that I'm late on the whole thing. The vote comes days after Trump, who had pushed Republicans for months to drop the inquiry, pivoted to endorsing the bill when it became clear the legislation would pass the House. But the Justice Department, which has custody of the files, has remained silent on how it will respond, and a bulk release of the files is unlikely to be imminent. And there's a link I can click, but I don't have time for that. We're already past our deadline of noon. Moving on. Who is Clay Higgins, U.S. Congressman, who voted no on release? Who is he? There we go. Who is Clay Higgins? Louisiana, 3rd Congressional District since 2017. Known as one of the most far-right members of the House, often takes positions that fall outside the Republican mainstream. He's also a strong Trump supporter. Higgins has drawn national attention for years, often because of controversy. Before he entered Congress, he worked in law enforcement, where he faced several misconduct complaints. He later became well known for his dramatic, tough-talking Crime Stoppers videos, which went viral and helped launch his political career. I think I don't care about this guy. Let's see what else is on this screen. I got a lot of stuff here. This is a reboot the computer day. Everything is slow and stupid. What to know about the F-35 fighter jet that Trump is selling to Saudi Arabia? Nah. I'll just blow that off like we do as a country. It's fine, yeah. With Aaron Rodgers injured, I didn't know he was hurt. Steelers worked out a pair of quarterbacks. Who could they be? Bean? Who's Bean? Jason Bean and Tanner Mordecai. They worked them out on Tuesday. Neither was signed. Either would ostensibly serve as a third-string quarterback if Rodgers doesn't play. Steelers currently have no quarterbacks on the practice squad. Who's their backup? Why is that not in here? Oh, Mason Rudolph and Will Howard. So Mason Rudolph, who's been there for a while. Will Howard, Ohio State. That's fine. They've got those are actual quarterbacks. All right, next. What's this? There's a new #1 podcast in America, Apple says. Come on, Writer Radio. Come on, right. There's a picture of Joe Rogan. Oh, Joe Rogan. Oh, rightfully so. Joe Rogan was number 3 previously, and he moved up to first place. The latest episode of Rogan is fantastic. It's him and Carolla. Adam Carolla is my favorite. I just love him. I think he's perfect. He's a perfect broadcaster. He's funny and smart in a like casual way. And it was, it's 2 hours or something of Rogan and Carolla talking. It's so good. I listened to it yesterday. What we can learn about Kurt Cobain, Freddie Mercury, and Beyonce from their denim. I'm just going to leave that one open. I don't care. I clicked on it. It seemed interesting. This free, no, that's for me. This Android app guy. YouTube TV. All right. Gets bad news. YouTube TV customers get bad news after ESPN dispute. They reached an agreement. We lost 2 weekends of college football and I think 2 episodes of Grey's Anatomy in my house. Although we found that because it was ABC, it was fine. All right, what's this? I haven't read any of this. It's just headlines I liked to see if they're interesting enough for the show. It looks like subscribers will miss out on some new content coming to ESPN. I don't care. That's not anything. Close. Next. Close faster, please. What's next for Keon Coleman, struggling Bills linebackers in matchup versus Texans? Who wrote this? Joe Biscaglia. Okay, it's real. After claiming their most explosive victory of the season on Sunday, the Bills had no choice but to quickly turn their attention to Week 12. Okay. Skip that. What's next for Keon? All right. The Bills had their first big breakout passing performance of the season and made notable changes. It was a whole new receiving core. It was fun. Yeah, it turns out if you have Josh Allen, just put some receivers on the field. You'll be fine. And they did that, and it was fine. Coleman showed up late to a team meeting on Friday, was a healthy scratch for the game, the third time the Bills have given him a team-imposed game day suspension. The timing of Coleman being off the field amid a lack of production all season and the Bills' terrific showing through the air certainly doesn't help his case. So what's next between the two sides? Speaking with reporters Tuesday, McDermott was not quick to shower Coleman with praise for what has transpired since, nor did he bury the second-year player. All right, well, that's a sentence we didn't need. Didn't do anything. That's what you're saying. Seems to be looking for actions over words. I'm done with this. I watched a video yesterday of Deion Dawkins talking about Coleman. The headline on the video was something like, he needs to grow up right now. And it was very positive. It was a very Deion Dawkins-esque. He nailed it. It's like, yeah, right now, you're there. And then I saw a video from early in the season where Dion, or like probably from camp, where Dion Dawkins was saying he's a different player right now, and I'm happy that we have him, and I'm happy that Josh has him, and blah, blah, blah. And sounded very positive. But can we just, I mean, we got to agree. Seems like an idiot, right? Like, capable of some things. Wasn't a first-round pick. He was the first pick of the second round, so that's different, I guess. But, like, the Bills poured a lot into him and traded away a pick that the Chiefs used for Worthy, who I don't like at all and I didn't want, and I'm fine with him being on the Chiefs. So no complaints there. But Coleman seems like just like a dumbass. Can we just say that? Like that's what he seems like. Tall, fast-ish, hands-ish, can tiptoe on sidelines-ish, can outjump somebody for a ball-ish. Helpful. Probably not the guy you would ideally take with your first pick in a draft. And that's kind of where we are. It's Wednesday. I don't know if I've praised Gabe Davis enough yet. I love Gabe Davis. The team is better when he's here. Josh is better when he's here. And he's here again. And I hated seeing him go to Jacksonville. I feel like I was on an island, loving that dude. But I definitely talked about this because going back to the Indy playoff game where he had 2 or 3 critical toe tap sideline catches. Like, look at this rookie. And then obviously what he did in that Chiefs game that the Bills didn't win, but it sure as hell wasn't Josh's fault. And it sure as hell wasn't Gabe Davis's fault with 200-something yards and 4 touchdowns in the friggin' game. Like, that's a dude we want here. And yes, Diggs was 1 and he was 2 at the time. But one of them is super cool and we want him around. And one of them is playing for the Patriots. And I'm thrilled that he's back. And I'm thrilled that Poyer's back. I'm thrilled that Jordan Phillips is back. They're assembling the squad to win in January and February. That's the plan. You've got the quarterback. 100% you've got the quarterback. You've got the guy. That dude will get it done for you. And just needs some things around him. And anything that makes him more comfortable makes me more comfortable as a fan. All right, what's this one? This is about Mike Dirnt from Green Day. I'll skip that. Dead body in a Tesla. I'll skip that. OnePlus. I'll skip that. That's no. What's this? DJ Aldo. I can't stop with DJ Aldo. Started the show with DJ Aldo today. It's not really DJ Aldo. There's a guy named DJ Aldo, and then the guy at the funeral was impersonating DJ Aldo. I'm going to close that. It's a long story. It's a sordid tale. I'm not going to get into. Oh, okay. Stuff Scott Wilson sent me. He said, you don't have to know soccer or Scotland to appreciate these calls. I think he's right. All right, not this call because there's no call. Well, that's not it. Scottish people going crazy for soccer goals as they qualify for the World Cup is awesome. That's not the thing I was looking for. All right, hold on. Stick with me. This is kind of fun. Maybe the show should just be this. Me in the corner of the screen looking at stuff on the internet. Not that. Not that. Ugh. I don't know how to do. He sent me this one. All right, here we go. This is it.
Towards the edge of the penalty area, gets a Danish head that gets to it. Not entirely clear. Kieran Tierney! Goal! Goal! Kieran Tierney has taken Scotland to the verge of World Cup return. 27 years on, and that could be the goal that takes us back to the big time. It's Scotland 3, Denmark 2. As Gilman has it, he's surrounded. He pokes the ball back. Surely now Scotland will hold on to possession. It's McLean. He's looking to go for goal from the halfway line. It's chipped. Glorious! Glorious! Kenny McLean
Glorious.
from the halfway line. Scotland 4, Denmark 2. We are returning to the World Cup. What a night!
The vast majority of that does not even, like, is it in English or not? Like, you don't know. And it's English, but it's Scottish English, and it's crazy.
Now it's back with McLean just inside the Danish half. Back in towards the edge of the penalty
Back in towards the edge of the penalty, I heard.
area. Against a Danish head that gets to it. Not entirely clear.
Danish had a guester? I don't know what that is.
Kieran Tierney!
Goal.
Goal!
Goal.
Kieran Tierney!
That guy's name.
Has taken Scotland to the verge of
Has taken Scotland to the something.
World Cup return. 27 years on, and that
World Cup return 27 years on.
could be the goal that takes us back to the big time. It's Scotland 3, Denmark 2.
I don't know who they're playing against, but the dude in the red, that's an own goal off your face, and that sucks. I don't speak soccer. Like, I don't speak softball. It's not my thing. It's not that I don't appreciate it. I don't know. I know baseball, I know basketball, I know football. Those are my things. I don't know soccer. I don't know Scottish. But a ball going in and off your face to promote Scotland to the World Cup for the first time in 28 years is worth noting. I don't know that they would call it own goal because he didn't do anything. He was just there. He's trying to stop. It's deflection off his face. But I'm going to rewind that a little bit. You're going to see the ball go off this dude's face and into the net, helping Scotland to get to the World Cup.
It's Scotland 3,
Look at
Denmark
that.
2.
Right off your face. Whoops.
As Gilman has it.
You know, it's not nothing. It's not just deflected off his face. He almost steered it into the goal. So screw that guy. If I'm a Scotland fan, I'm kind of mad at this guy and his face. All right, close. YouTube. Brain rot. Nah, I don't feel like doing that. This is a thing that has been on my mind, though, is the term brain rot. The term brain rot, how do I make it go on the screen the way whatever. I just keep hearing it, and I'm seeing it. I saw it on, there it is, brain rot, right there. I've seen it on, what's that stupid game the kids play? Fortnite. It was like stealing brain rot is a thing. And the phrase, it's been around for a long time, but I have only heard it recently. I notice it when it comes up 47 times in a day. I'm like, hey, what is that thing the kids are saying? 6, 7, like that stuff. It's one of those. But brain rot's a thing. And I think generally I get what we're talking about here. But I have to figure out what my kids mean when they're saying it. I don't know that they know what they mean when they say things. All right, I'm going to end the show. I'm done. Play the Police Academy thing again and get out of here. I'm done. I'll be back tomorrow after the Bulls beat the Miami Redhawks. Tune in tonight, 6 o'clock pregame, 7 o'clock kickoff from UB Stadium. Massive, massive, massive football game for our UB Bulls. So tune in, enjoy. Thanks.